I'll invite Tiffany up.
And Andrew, this speech will be 5 to 7. Okay. By a show of hands, how many of you tonight have donated blood before? Okay. Pretty good amount. All right. Well, I already know just by looking around the room that not everyone is eligible. You do have to be 17 years old to donate blood. However, in the United States, 38% of the U.S. population is eligible to donate blood. And of that 38% who are eligible, less than 10% actually do donate. So every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. They need a blood donation. So the need is very great. And tonight, I want to encourage everyone here to donate blood. And January is actually National Blood Donor Month. So in the spirit of January, I encourage all of you to donate not only this month, but as often as possible. And the American Red Cross Association says there are 2 main reasons why people don't donate. Number 1 is their fear of needles, and number 2, they just don't think about it. So if you're in the number 1 group and have a fear of needles, then I encourage you to overcome that fear and work to overcome that. And if you're in the second group and you just don't think about it, well, I'm here today making you think about it. So I've got you covered there. So with blood donation, there are actually different types. You can donate whole blood. You can donate whole blood actually once every 56 days. That's as often as you can donate. It only takes about 8 to 10 minutes of your time, the donation itself, so it's pretty quick. For double red cells, that's another donation type. You can donate every 112 days. And this donation type takes about 30 minutes, and I'm not going to go too much into double red cells just because it is a little more complicated, and also there's more restrictions. I personally am not eligible to donate double red cells. There's also platelets. So platelets you can actually donate once every 2 weeks. A platelet donation takes about an hour and a half to 2.5 hours of your time. So that one's a little more lengthy. And then there's plasma, which you can donate once every 28 days. And with plasma, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes of your time. You can also donate both platelets and plasma simultaneously. And the time is not all together. So I've donated both platelets and plasma at the same time before, many times actually, and it takes about 2 hours usually. So you may be wondering a little more about platelets and plasma and why the donations take so long. Why do those 2 take so much longer, whereas whole blood just takes about 8 to 10 minutes? The reason is because they do what's called an apheresis machine. They use an apheresis machine to separate the blood. So actually when you donate platelets and plasma, you use both arms. So with one arm, they are drawing the blood. And after the blood is drawn and outside of your body, they use an intricate machine that separates the platelets and the plasma. And then after it's separated, the parts that they don't use, the components of the blood that are not used, are actually put back into your other arm. So you're laying there like this, and usually it's a nice, comfortable reclining chair. And when you're donating, your blood temperature will drop, so they usually lay a bunch of blankets on you and make sure you're comfortable. They're very attentive to platelet and plasma donors, which is great. So it's actually a really nice experience. When you go in to donate, there's a movie you can watch, at least at the American Red Cross in Pomona is the one I like to go to. And they have a really wide selection of DVDs, so before you donate, you can choose a DVD to watch, a movie. And you can recline there and watch your movie for a good couple of hours. They have headphones, so you're the only one listening and watching personal TV per chair. So it's actually a really nice experience. So you may be wondering now, why or what type of donation is best for you. Do you donate whole blood? Do you donate platelets or plasma? And the answer to that question is that it depends on your blood type. So there are a few different blood types on the board here. Okay, so for each one of these, there's a positive and a negative. This is my blood type right here. I'm AB positive. So AB positive is pretty rare. Only 3% of the US population shares my blood type. With my blood type, I'm actually a universal plasma donor. And what that means is when anyone with AB positive blood donates plasma, then anyone of any of these types of blood can receive that plasma. So if you're wondering what plasma is actually the liquid portion of blood. It's mostly water and also has small amounts of proteins in it. And the proteins contain clotting materials that help bodies heal after injury. So plasma is actually very important. It's just as important to donate plasma. The supply to those in need is just as important as the whole blood need. And then platelets are the small blood components that help the clotting process as well. So they're similar to the plasma, and they stick to the lining of the blood vessels. So with me, since I'm AB positive and I'm a universal plasma donor, it's very important for me to donate plasma. They always want my plasma. They call me on the phone and they ask me to come and donate. With platelets, anyone who's any of these, A, B, or AB positive are ideal platelets donors. If you are O negative, O negative, then you are an ideal whole blood donor because anyone can receive your blood. So the universal donor for whole blood is O negative. And sometimes, for instance, newborn babies who we haven't had time to determine and figure out what their blood type is, if they need an emergency blood transfusion, then we can do that using O negative blood and know that it's safe. So I encourage you to call the American Red Cross and see about donating blood. Check your eligibility and see if you can. See what they need, just ask them. You tell them your blood type, ask them what they need and how you can help. So, let me see, I have some information here that I'll put on the board for you.
Question?
Yes?
What is the most common blood type?
O positive is the most common. I believe somewhere around 35% of the population has O positive. The second most common is A positive. And all of the positives are more common, but AB positive is pretty rare. That's what I am. And AB negative is extremely rare, just a small fraction of 1%, or like 0.2%, I think, of the population has that. And O negative is maybe 2% of the population has that. So yeah, it's really rare. So the rare ones are really always a need too, because two rare types are the universal donors for plasma and whole blood. So, just in case anyone wants to write this information down. That's what the letters are. And when you call, you can ask them where your local blood donation center is. And then you can set up an appointment and go from there. Just some other benefits to donating. I already mentioned when you donate platelets and plasma, you usually can watch a movie in most centers. And also, every time you go in, you get a mini physical. So they'll take your blood temperature, your pulse, your hemoglobin, which is your iron count, and blood temperature, pulse, and body temperature as well, or blood pressure, body temperature. So there's a few things that you get to know about yourself every time you go. Make sure you're healthy. Eat a well-balanced meal at least 4 hours before you donate, or within 4 hours before you donate. Drink lots of fluids, all that good stuff, and only go in when you're feeling healthy, not when you're feeling ill. So I encourage everyone to donate, and it's a great thing to do because it's safe, easy, and rewarding. And I promise you that you'll be glad you did.